I like that. I'll do it that way. That's the way to
Yes,
do it. Go to,
yes, yes,
right.
yes.
Do it this way, right. That's the way
Mhm.
you taught me. Then
Yeah.
click on it. Deborah, you got that?
Deborah is not doing it.
I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know how to do
Okay.
it. I'm afraid to even move and get disconnected from this. So I'm staying.
I understand, but totally get it.
So
Totally get it.
guess what, ladies? We are live. We are
Hey,
right here on Why I Write. So let us just do this quick thing here. I like to go live on my real page here. So, hi, welcome everyone. My name is Tontlin Oliver, and I am your host for another in the series, Why I Write. So, I like to do this simultaneously because I want to just remind everyone. I'm going to go live here on Facebook just now. So, hi everyone, welcome. We are live on YouTube with Why I Write this evening. And I just want to remind you to click on the advertisement links for YouTube. If you don't know where to find that, you can go to YouTube and type in Why I Write in the search bar so you can find us. I also will be sharing the YouTube link to our Facebook page. Let me do that right now. So I'm just making sure to go live here on Facebook so that everyone who is a subscriber will receive an alert to get to Facebook and get to YouTube and become live, right? You can watch the thing live. So I'm going to share it here to my personal page so you all can watch. Click the link and watch. And also, I'm going to do it to my Why I Write page so that we can get the word out. How you been doing? It is Holy Week. I know some folks are not so fussy about Holy Week for one reason or another. Others are. I know a lot of folks are getting ready to have lots of bun and cheese come Friday, and we invite you to do so. We invite you to do so, especially if you exercise a lot. I know one of my guests told me earlier on she was so busy exercising, so she missed my call today. So I'm just filling time so that everybody can get a chance to absolutely log in to listen to this very exciting discussion we're going to have tonight because we're talking with our storytellers, we're talking with our authors, and I think that there's no better time than now to focus on our creative insights because these are the times that call for creative solutions in our lives. So it's very important, I believe, for us to simply use up the creative skills we have, no matter where we originate from. Our business is to find solutions as we navigate our lives. Tonight, we're going to be talking very, very seriously about the importance of what it means to share your story. That has been more or less the hallmark of our Wire Right series. We are big on pushing folks towards embracing their own creativity because this is where we find so many solutions in our lives. It helps to heal, it helps pull families together, it helps us as a community to understand what is involved in the whole business of navigating life, asking those questions, speaking about those questions that make a difference in our lives. So that is what we're looking about doing today. I'm going to sign off of this live feed here. Please join us on our YouTube channel so that more people can watch. Share the YouTube channel. Share this YouTube channel, folks, so that more people can get the opportunity to watch what we do here on Why I Write. Tonight, it gives me great pleasure to welcome to our screens two persons, two women of Caribbean Jamaican descent who are vested in the business of telling our stories in their own words. One of our guests, she has been with us before, Debra Ehrhardt. You remember that lady who came and told us about the story about she doing housework and the cleaning? Yes. Uh-huh. And then we have a winner of one of those types of competitions that Debra has spearheaded. So we're going to meet these two ladies this evening. And again, if you haven't met Debra, you're in for a treat. If you haven't met Sharon, you're in for a treat. So put your hands together and welcome to our screens of Why I Write, or guests for tonight, Debra and Sharon. Welcome, ladies. So good to have you here with us tonight.
Good night.
So
Greetings.
good to see you. Go, so good to see you. Happy New Year. Happy Valentine's. Happy
Happy
Easter.
Easter.
All of this good stuff. Now, let me start with Debra. Debra, the last time that we were together last year, we were looking at you planning for an upcoming competition and a few other events surrounding storytelling. I know back in February, you had a storytelling competition in Jamaica that was standing room only. And recently, you had events in LA. So let's start there, Debra, and tell us about what's been happening with you since we last were together here on Why I Write.
Thank you for having me. Wonderful to see your beautiful face again, Totlin. Since I last was here, I have been going through stories from Jamaicans and trying to see what we could make it to the semifinals and and see what was an actual story, because some people don't realize that I'm looking for true stories, something that actually happened to you in your life. And a lot of Jamaicans, they don't really like to share their personal stories because
That's
we're very private. I don't know why, but even when I was growing up, my mother would say to me, Jamaicans don't share their dirty laundry. But we have no problem sharing other people's story and coming and fasting in other people's business and telling other people's story. But this competition, we're looking for your story,
Mhm.
and and a story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And some of them are funny, some of them are funny and dramatic. But I have been telling stories from a young age, and I just feel when I share my stories with people all over the world, we have an instant connection. And that's why I think storytelling, especially in these times, is going to help us get through the turmoil. You know what I mean? And just help calm our spirit. Because when we share our stories, we realize that we are not the only ones who are, we can relate to, no matter where we come from, we all share the same emotions.
We share the human story.
Exactly. We share those stories.
What I loved about the stories that you told the last time you were here with us on Why I Write is that certain stories don't only happen to certain people. They don't only happen to people from the upper echelons of society or the lower echelons of society or the middle class. These stories don't only happen to people who look green, yellow, blue, red, tall, short, fat, old, skinny. These stories cross all boundary lines.
Exactly. They transcend borders, it
Yeah.
just that's what's wonderful about storytelling. When we share our personal stories, it doesn't matter where you come from in the world, you can relate to them. And that's why I love it so much.
When was the first time that you mounted a storytelling competition?
4 years ago in Jamaica, I started it, and our first one was up at Hope Gardens. And, it was amazing. People trekked from hills and valleys and to come and share their story, and because I've had the good fortune to share my stories all over the world, I wanted to go back to Jamaica and give the wonderful storytellers there a platform to share their stories. And I tell you, they come out from far and near and take bus and come and to tell their story. And it is wonderful. All the stories are authentic, and real, and they touch your heart. And Sharon can tell you, she was there listening to all of them.
Exactly. Now, this is the point at which I want to introduce Sharon. Sharon, who is the winner of one of the latest competitions.
Last one, yes, 2025. Sharon is our 2025
winner.
winner.
Yeah. This is where we play that sound. Welcome, Sharon. First time that you're on Why I Write, and you get the opportunity to come on sharing your story as a storyteller. You're also an author. How did you hear about the storytelling competition that happened in Jamaica back in February?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Thank you, Deborah. Good to see you. Totlin's audience, hi, greetings. I knew about Deborah's storytelling contest when she started it because I'm part of an organization in New Jersey called the John Jay Organization, Jamaican Jamaican Organization of New Jersey. I just had a brain fart, right? John Jay. And so they, what Deborah does is, people don't know that Deborah does a lot to support various community organizations. And one of the things she does is she utilizes her storytelling contest as a fundraising tool mechanism for diaspora organizations. And so I remember when she started and we saw as one of the fundraisers the story, and I was like, wow. And one of the ladies there actually said, Sharon, you should enter. And I said, I will, because I'm like that. I'm like, I'll just say something like, yeah, I will. And I did. And when I entered, I had no idea that the story that I wound up doing is the story that I would have done. Because when I entered, that didn't even, the person that I ended up writing about and the incident wasn't even a reality in my life at the time that I even entered. And then this thing just happened. And, Deborah is somebody, she is so special because she's such a wonderful storyteller that she knows what she's looking for in a story. And that's what she taught me through this entire process, how to be an excellent storyteller. Not that I wasn't a good one, but with her coaching and her drive and her insights and her coaching and guiding me. Yeah.
How long? Yes, Deborah, go ahead.
Sharon was so open to hearing suggestions, I don't think that people have to follow, because I'm not the be all and end all, but because I've been doing it for 30 years, I can give you a couple of tips. But Sharon was so open to trying, because all I want you to do is try it this way, try it that way, and let's see what feels good. And she was just so open to receiving everything and to trying everything. And then in the end, she decided what would work best for her, But you have to be open. There's some people who submit stories and then I say, listen, I don't think, we don't want to ask the audience questions. We don't want to lecture them. And then they still go ahead and do what they want to do. And then they don't get in, because I know that what the audience in the chair, what we're looking for, But she was amazing at just taking direction.
Thank you.
Look, I'm very curious, Sharon. What was the story that you started out with that ended up being quasi-reality in your life that you ended up telling at this competition?
Oh, well, wait, let me clarify. The story I started off with was not the story I won with. I started off with a whole other story that Deborah and I thought was the story. And like Deborah says, and everybody who knows me knows this, I'm very open to learning. I love to learn, and I'm always trying to do better and be better, right? Good, better, best,
Right.
that kind of thing. And so we started off with a lovely little story that we thought was just a lovely little story. And then Deborah had given me a call and said, Sharon, one thing I know about these people, they love sauce, they love man and woman story. And she said, I love the story, don't think I don't love the story. It's a nice little story, but you know, um, have a little heartbreak love. I don't know if she said heartbreak, but a little love man and woman story. And I laughed the day to her and I said, Debra, I actually do. And she said, tell me, because that's what Debra is. She's like, tell me about it now. She wants you to be in the moment. And in the moment, I told Debra the story, and Debra says to me, I want you to go write it now. Just exactly what you just told me, go write it. And I was like, what? So forget about the other story. She says, just write it. Let's see. I I told her the backstory. I wrote the story, and the rest we just worked on it for months. We just worked on it, and it became the story that won. And I think part of the reason it won was because I really was being very vulnerable. It's one of the most
Yes.
vulnerable naked places I've ever stood in my
Wow.
life. I exposed all of me in that story. But I did it for women. I did it for men. I did it for people, because so many people walk around with shame that is not even their own shame. It's shame that they feel like they should own, but they shouldn't. And
Shame
so
and pain. Right.
go ahead, Deborah.
Shame and pain.
Shame and
And
pain. And I was
hide,
filled with, yes, and I was filled with that. And Deborah, being the coach that she is, she saw that, and she knows that I love to write. So she encouraged me. And we can even share with you that the story that we whittled it down to, right? Deborah allowed me to do a bigger story because she realized that I needed to get it out of me. And I didn't realize that's what she was doing until afterwards. And that's how I know that. And Deborah works with all of us in this way. And like she says, it's what you want to take from it. But in speaking to even some of the other contestants, I realized that this is what she does. She really is that coach that she wants you to have your voice. She wants you to be your story, but she really wants to be that guide for you. And if you're open for it, tackling, you're going to get it. And that's what she did for me, because it was a big, broader story. And then she with her coaching allowed me to do what any editor wants you to do, which is to get to the story, the crux
right.
of
We
it.
want
The
to,
meat of the
that's
matter.
right. That's the thing. We want to take out every line that doesn't move the story
Yes,
forward.
Forward.
yes,
We want to grab the audience and we don't want to let them go. We want to
yes,
get them out of the seat to go on that journey with us and to
yes,
feel everything. And that is what Sharon did. I
yes,
mean, Toddlin, if you were there, Sharon had that audience in the palm of her hand. I mean, they were along on the journey with her. They didn't let go. They didn't come off of that Sharon train. And every single person, I mean, Sharon got, I mean, they just cheered for her
They
like you cannot believe
really.
it. We can, all of us, can relate to a story like that. And I try to tell people, you know, the stories that some of the people want to write are stories that we already know. You want to write the stories that you want to write are the stories that you really don't want to tell,
All
which
yes.
right. You
hard.
see, this brings me to a very key point in this conversation.
Mhm,
As we started, and off air, we're talking about some other things, some other personal stuff.
mhm.
And I think that that personal stuff just comes from being a West Indian person, a Caribbean person, a person of color, where, as you mentioned when we started, Deborah, we don't like to air our dirty laundry in public.
Mhm.
Right now, I just want to pause and say hello to all of our YouTube audience. Thank you. I want to say special hello to Andreen Bunner. Thank you so much for joining us. Francis Folk,
Country.
it's great to have you joining us. So glad to see you here on this platform. So, here's what I need to find out, because this is going to encourage other folks to come this way. A lot of folks are not going to pay a therapist to go sit down.
Right.
But in writing our own stories, we really start to unearth hidden stories that need airing. And as you mentioned before, Sharon, Deborah saw that that bigger story needed to come out.
Yes.
In this process of being coached by Deborah, and Deborah also demonstrated her own vulnerability in the stories that she has told,
Mhm.
how did you, in your heart, navigate this process of telling these deep truths that had the audience eating out of the palm of your hand? And as you mentioned, it wasn't until after the process that you realized what was done, what was
Absolutely.
birthed.
Um, it was painful. It was difficult. Um, it was arresting. It took my breath away. It made me very and I don't use this word often, but scared of what could happen, because I'm telling a story that involves, so it's real. It happened to me. I'm a public person. People are aware of this story. They saw something with me, and then they saw the thing was not there anymore, and so it wasn't a secret. I mean, this thing. Once I tell the story, they were gonna know. Go ahead, Deborah.
Sharon, didn't you feel that audience
Yes,
just
they took
here
me.
with you,
They did. It
supporting
was,
you, being there for you? Didn't
yeah.
you feel
I
that?
felt it. And I spoke about that to a friend of mine who interviewed me about this afterwards. Tatlin, even just reliving it now with you, it really was one of those take your breath away moments. The minute I started telling the story, and my voice is cracking, I can't believe it. The minute I went up on stage to tell the story and I started, the audience gave me the energy that I needed. And they literally, Tatlin, I am not making this up, they came step by step by step, even parts of the story where I knew that I needed to have probably should have taken an extra breath or something. I don't know. I just got into it and I just told the story because the audience, they were responding, they were commenting, they were doing the oohs and the ahs and all of that with me. And there was no denying it. It wasn't like it was some people, or it was the entire room. And Tatlin, when I finished and I said, all that glitters is not gold, that they finished with me, they finished the statement, and there was an eruption. And my breath was just taken away from me because it's like, oh my God, here I am. This is what God is really, when they say, praise him, and what is it? I'm gonna, there it is. My mom would shake her head. But you know that thing they say about, doing your work, what you do in private, and then how he will bless you in public. And that is exactly what happened. I was in pain, Tatlin. I was in a lot of pain. And my friends did not know, and my family didn't know. Deborah connected with that pain. And she knew as a writer that I was a writer as well. And she knew that by me doing this, it was gonna free me. And she didn't do it by beating me over the head or coming. You know what she would do, Tatlin? She would leave me with a version, right? She would leave me, and then she would, Shar, I was thinking about something, Let's look at the story again. She knows where she wants to go with me, but she guides me there. And then I would then say the line again with her or say the phrase, and she said, what and that's how Deborah is. And before you know it, Tatlin, I'm like, something, you're right. Yeah, let me.
Okay, I'm ready to enter this storytelling competition.
You have to. You have to. And can I tell you something, Tatlin? And I told her this every time we spoke. I told her this. I said, I've worked with a lot of different people. I'm an actress, I'm a producer, I'm a storyteller. I do all the storytelling. I'm in production, I'm a hostess. I am working with people all the time. I know good coaches.
Yes.
I know good directors.
Yes.
Debra Ehrhardt sitting here with me. I am telling you, I had no idea she was the type of coach that she really is. She cares about storytelling. And because she cares about storytelling and she trusts the process of how it should be done, she is so invested in this that I must tell you that I didn't believe in me at first. I borrowed Deborah's belief in me telling this story.
What happens. Sometimes that's how it happens.
I was afraid. Yeah, I borrowed her belief that people would be okay with the story. People would be okay with it, Sharon, and you would be all right on the other side of it. And I'm here to tell people, go deep, go deep. It heals you. It really does heal you.
Yes, yes, yes. Andreen Bonner says, Deborah is my best one-woman writing coach. Congrats, Sharon, for allowing her to guide you. Thank you, Deborah. Now, with that exciting description, we're all on the edge of our seats wanting to hear this story. How are we able to hear these stories, Deborah? These stories.
Listen, I just had my editor. We finished up this last year. We finished so it's just about ready. And I wish I could figure out how to put Sharon's on here, but I don't quite know how to do it. Like I just, they are, I have it on my hard drive, but I don't know how to get it.
Talk about that later on. We can put it on for the
Put it
show.
on another time. You know,
Yes.
you'll get to see it, and anybody want to see it. You know, maybe we can do it on your show. Show a couple, one. You know, maybe we can do it on your show next month or whatever. Show a couple of them. You
Yes,
know,
we can. Yes, we can.
but I've just got it. You know, it's ready to go. I just have to figure out how now to get it. But I'm heading back down to Jamaica in June to show, you know, some of the best storytellers for the past. People have seen that this last one, but they haven't seen, you know, the last three, because it every year it just keeps growing and growing and growing.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
You know?
So coming up in Atlanta, Georgia. So if you're in Atlanta, Georgia,
yeah, you must come in. Yes, I'm gonna be in Atlanta in 2 weeks, showing up the best storytellers in Jamaica. And guys, you know, it's funny. The thing is, you know, I've been to storytelling events here in Los Angeles. We have them, and you know, another storytelling events. But the problem is that, you know, people get up there and tell stories and they just ramble sometimes and ramble, you know. And so generally speaking, people don't want to go to storytelling events because they don't want to hear this rambling and this, you know. But I don't, you know, I am not, my goal in life, because like I said, me can't cook, me can't clean too good, me can't iron, me can't do none of them something. So the only thing that I love doing, that I think is important, you know, for humankind, is storytelling. And so I am not going, when I put up a show in Jamaica, when I put up a show anywhere, people know that if my name is on it, they ain't gonna be bored. Okay. Because I am not putting up, my main goal when I tell a story and when I get on stage is not to bore people. Okay, them spend an hour getting ready, them have to drive in the traffic, come park them car, come spend an hour with me. I'm gonna make sure that they're gonna enjoy the show. And so only the best people get up on the stage for the finals. This is why I have, you know, a process where, you know, I don't think, you know, we give away $1 million between the semifinalists, and the finalists get most of it, but you have to work. You don't get $375,000 by not doing the work.
Yeah,
only for work.
You've got to do the work, and you've got to get up there. And if your job is to tell a story, you better tell the best darn story that you can, because people are not going to listen and vote for nonsense. Okay. You have got to touch them in some way. Okay. And it is our duty as artists to never get up there and put up work that is not rewritten, tried and true. You know, all my shows that I do, I have workshop. People will tell you, this last show that I did, look what fell out the mango tree. I workshopped it for a year because I want to make sure that when I take it and put it out there, people are going to go, Deborah, that touched me. Oh my God, you've got to go. I want people to get on the phone and go, listen, you got to go and see that show.
Yeah.
You know what? And you cannot do that if you don't, if you have to. Writing is all about rewriting. And if you want to tell your story, you know, if you can, if there is a story to be told and you give it to 10 writers to write it, Totlin, we all gonna write it in 10 different ways, you know.
That's correct.
You can write the same story in 10 different ways, you know. But if you want to, if your goal is to grab that audience and keep them in the palm of your hand, you've got to work on it. And listen, I tell people, don't even send your story in unless you tell it to 5 people, 10 people. Start with your family. Then you have to move outside, because granny going to tell you your story is good anyway. Go out into your friends and go out into a coffee shop and tell the story to someone who's going to be honest. And then when the people say, oh my God, that's a great story, then you write it and you bring it. You know what I mean? Because you want to always put up your best work. As artists, we want to put up our best work.
Sharon, I'm going to put you on the spot right there.
Wow.
Can we hear the first few lines of that story you started?
Oh, Deborah.
You can do it, girl. You're fantastic. You can do
it. Just to whet our appetites for that event coming up in Atlanta, Georgia in 2 weeks' time, and you're going to give me some more details so that all of our friends and relatives in Atlanta and the environs can come and witness this special event.
Yes, Sharon, give us a minute. Come on. You
And
can.
Let's go.
can I also say that Deborah is going to be in New Jersey
First weekend in May.
in May. Yes, I just want to make sure that I get that out there because my Jersey people are listening and I don't want them to be annoyed at me. Okay, so I'm doing this from memory right now, like I did. Oh my gosh. Gosh, Tatlin, you did that to me.
Well, look here. Right now, 𝐓𝐇𝐀𝐓 has
Uh-oh.
on his page celebrating 1 month anniversary of Sharon Gordon's book.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
isn't
my
that
book, Cherry
amazing?
Baby. Big up Hubert.
Yes,
That's
yes,
my
yes,
boy.
yes, yes,
That's my
yes.
boy. All right, I'll give you a little tease. I'll give you all a little tease. Deborah, tell me when to stop because I just gonna get started.
I
So,
will stop you, not to worry. I will
all
stop
right,
you because we don't want to give away the whole thing.
all
One
right.
stop. Mhm.
It was pure chance that evening when my friend called me at the 11th hour, begging me for a ticket for his good friend to attend the sold out show that I was hosting later that evening. Or at the same time, my daughter-in-law was calling to tell me that she decided not to go to the show. My dear, long story short, my friend, good friend, ended up scoring a ticket for the hottest show for the night. No, I've been happily single and taking care of myself for years, as you can see. I'm not out here looking for nobody, don't need nobody. But then I wasn't ready for it when I got weak in the knee when my friend's friend walked in. Yes,
Oh,
Mr.
wow.
Scott walked in, and what was a girl supposed to do when Mr. Tall, dark, and handsome entered the room? I mean, I tried to stay calm on the outside, but I was dying inside. Should I keep going?
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
Should I
Wait,
keep going?
we gotta be on the film show in Atlanta. Deborah,
Give him a little bit more, Deborah, just a tip.
Yeah, go on if you want to give it. Go
go
on.
on.
All right. All right. So what did I? He wouldn't stop looking at me, and so I blushed and quickly fell for Mr. Scotchy, Mr. Tall, dark, and handsome. And so um there was no courtship, my dear. We just meet and bam. What can I tell you? My family and friends loved him. Yes. They saw what I saw in him, that he was a keeper, a good guy. Unmarried, no children, gainfully employed, smell good, dress well, could have, listen, rival my grandmother with cooking and my mother with cleaning. Let me tell you something. We thank God every day for the blessings of each other. For he was a praying brother, and I'm a praying sister. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Ladies, he was blessed, if you know what I mean.
All right. All right.
And I was happiest each time we got to know each other biblically, if you know what I mean. I mean, no, after months of me and Mr. Scotchy, a palaver and a parade all over the place, up and down, him and meet my family. After him first ever vacation, it was a cruise. Never been on a ship one time in him life. I mean, he was living a good life with me. You hear me? In best life. Right after that, I did something to surprise him. Yes, my dear. I threw him a surprise birthday party. I'm gonna stop there because Deborah didn't get too much.
You know he loved the man story.
Deborah, they have
We
to come to
you know,
Atlanta.
the
Yes.
thing is, the thing is, we all have, several stories, and we want to tell the best one.
Yes.
So when I listen to people, they sometimes tell me, Deb, what about this, this? I have these four, and they can't make up their mind. And I go, okay, tell them to me. And then I go, okay, that's the one. Because, we want to tell, I see the one that they connect with the most to, and the one that I think the audience is really going to love. And and that they're excited about telling. And the thing is, if you work on it Because Sharon, I have to say, she worked on it for months and she was so open because Sharon and I would go through it and I'd go, Sharon, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And she was open and, she tried it that way and she goes, you know what? That works. That works. And, you know,
I
and
move
she
the
was just,
word
when you
around.
practice, she was so confident with it that she got up on that stage. Oh my God, the people were eating out of the palm of her hand because she knew it. You want to know the story well. And when you know it well, then you can have a great time and and people are going to enjoy it because you know it well. You cannot go up there and wing it.
No, you have to know the story and you have to feel your story. You have to know it to the point where you know how to breathe, you know how to, because it's just us. Like, I can tell you something that Deborah, I never said this to you, but there were some people there that was actually having a conversation that were nervous about me. And I learned this later on, that they were saying that, oh, I just stood there and I just told the story, but these other people was moving and running all over the stage, and they were wondering if the judges would look at that and wonder if I wasn't using up the stage. And one of my friends who they were saying this to, confidently, Deborah said to them, it's a storytelling contest. All right, it's a storytelling contest. And I say that to say, if I wasn't telling that story from a place of authenticity, if people didn't realize that the story was coming from me, I wasn't acting it out, I wasn't thinking about the next lines. I have not performed this story since then. That was the 8th of February. And you just put me on the spot and I was able to just kind of conjure up, right?
Of it.
So it tells you. And I practice daily. I worked very hard at it. Deborah is a very hard coach as well. All right. She's a taskmaster. And she knows if you have practiced. She knows if you have tweaked. She knows if you come back and you give her about the same thing.
She knows all of those things.
She does. She does.
Subject. Let me touch on the part of you that's the author. You have a new book out. And we have to invite you back to talk more about the business of writing. Tell us a little bit about this book and how has, your experience as a published author help you in the competition? And since the competition, how do you now view yourself as an author?
Well, Tatlin, let me share with your audience that I was not a published author when I won the What's Your Story Jamaica storytelling contest, right? I was in the process of working on my book. And and this is why I appreciate what Deborah did, because I was in the throes of editing and preparing with all of that people would not believe my workload while I was preparing for the storytelling contest. And that's why I know that, your work ethic is really important. I want to shout out Dr. Shirley Capron and my editor, Raquel Simpson, who they knew too that I was working on the storytelling contest and gave me grace and gave me space to do that work. But I was preparing myself to be published. I wrote Sherry Baby. That's the name of my book, Sherry Baby. I wrote it during COVID and sat on it and was afraid to release it, was afraid to tell that story because it's a very personal, it's a fictional account of a life that I know very well and people I know very well. It takes place in a very specific time in Jamaica, 1969 to 1975. The protagonist is not someone we have ever seen before in Caribbean literature. She's a 7-year-old precocious little girl who is just reporting on her community. She's labeled a village lawyer by her mother in the story. She is providing a bird's eye view of Rollington Town, the town in which she's growing up in Jamaica during that time. And so there is, it's a blending of nostalgia with social commentary. The imagery is vivid. I hear a lot of people telling me that I've taken them back. I've transported them back. They can see and feel and smell. And that's important for me because I am providing a little piece of Jamaican history in a way through storytelling, because that's what I do best. One of the things I do best, but in a way that I am using patois in honoring Miss Lou, who was my mentor. So that's another thing about this novel that is so unique, Kathleen, is in the spirit of Zora Neale Hurston and Miss Lou and others, I am using the people's tongue, the people's language to tell the story. And so the story, the dialogue and most of it is in patois. And I'm talking raw, unbridled, proud.
Bonds, patois.
Okay. But
Deborah, have you read this book?
there's
Let
a
me ask
glossary at
you.
the end of the book. There's a
Let me
glossary.
let me ask Deborah. Have you read this book?
Listen, I read the book and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't want to tell you too much
Yes.
because I want people to get it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And Sharon did a great job. I don't know if you read The Color Purple. They didn't write that in English, you
Right.
know. I mean,
Exactly.
kind of, but I loved that book as well.
That
Thank
book?
you for recognizing that, Deborah. Thank you.
It
Yes.
really touched me, and I think that this book has this book will do that to you as well. Thoroughly enjoyed some of
I
the stories.
feel like it could become another mini series because
Yes.
we're seeing a lot of those things. You know, one of the I've been doing Why I Write since October 2021,
Bless your heart.
and I've spoken to authors, male and female, different thought patterns across the diaspora, United States, Canada, London, England, Caribbean, whatnot. And what my heart is rejoicing in hearing these stories. Why I studied literature, Caribbean literature and African literature back in the mid 80s as a part of my undergrad studies. My heart yearned to hear about these stories I'm
Yes.
now entertaining.
Yes.
So to hear these stories coming up, to hear that um, Deborah says, look, this is a great story and it will touch you. Hold up the book for me so that we can see the cover of that book.
I'll ask folks to go to Amazon.com and see Sherry Baby. It's there. Read the reviews. The reviews are there. I think the reviews says a lot. There is that consensus about this book that it's provocative. It is, people have called it the quintessential Jamaican novel. People are calling it all types of things because it resonates with people. The themes are timeless. Though familiar to us as Jamaicans, it is going to be familiar to anybody who's Caribbean or anyone who's living in a post-colonial space. And
Yes.
what that has to do with in terms of identity, what that has to do with in terms of culture, what that has to do with in terms of political identity and all that schooling, churchicalness, you know what I mean?
I
All
love
of
that word, churchicalness. I
that.
tell
Yeah, I
people,
like to make.
yeah, I tell people all the time. I said, look, I'm not a churchical person. I'm not a churchical person, but
You got it. I love
I
it.
will talk about other things, and so on. Now, I cut you off in the middle of you explaining about the depth of the book, but let us move on quickly to hear an excerpt from
Oh,
your written word
oh,
right here on Why I Write. In the
oh,
meantime, I'm
wow.
going to check for my comments here.
Oh boy. Okay. So I didn't select, it selected me. I just opened up and I'm on page 90 and it's transformation. And just to put this in context, Sherry has been well, I think let me just read it. At the end of March 1973, when I returned to attending school regularly, and the People's National Party had won the election and made Michael Manley Jamaica's fourth prime minister, I'd undergone a transformation, as my mother called it. I went from disheveled tomboy to clean little Sherry Baby. Many people, including Mummy, told me I looked smart in my navy blue accordion pleated uniform skirt, white Peter Pan colored button down cotton blouse, navy blue tie, brown socks, brown shoes and socks, not to mention how pleased they were to see how my unruly head of hair now stayed groomed. My mother thought this change in me was nothing short of a miracle. At least she stop run up and down like one little wild animal. If she can just stop laba laba now and fast in a people business, Mommy laughed. They found it funny. They expected me to return to my old self soon. I didn't find it funny and wondered often, could I ever return? Look at her, sister. Look at her. It's a miracle. My mother gushed inside our principal, Sister Daniel's office on the day she returned me to St. Joseph's, saying I'd turned over a new leaf. Upon my mother's recent return from America, she learned of my extended absence and notified me she had heard about my bad behavior too. Sister Daniel instructed me to pray, my child, ask the Blessed Mother for forgiveness of your sins. My chest tightened, What did she know? I stiffened like I did when I first noticed how the images were everywhere and watched her every move in our classrooms, in the chapel, in the hallways. And now, as I sat in Sister Daniel's office, they stared at me as I sat in the wooden chair, similar to the images on the wall when Reverend Mr. Chappie occupied Mommy's bedroom. I knew better than to swing my feet, which didn't touch the floor, but the images stared at me. How could I pray? Mommy made me practice, but I still wasn't sure. My mind wandered back to when I was in grade 1, and we were warned to never stare at the images of the people who looked like the Jamaican sun could burn up them skin. We were told to call the one who looked like a hippie with blonde hair and blue eyes the Son, Father, and Holy Ghost. I tried to understand how one person could be 3 people. We were also told to call the sad-faced lady the Virgin Mary, for she gave birth to the son in a manger. It didn't make sense to us, and we talked about this mystery constantly. They told us the son came to save mankind, and the nice Sisters of Mercy traveled all the way from Toledo, Ohio, in the United States to Kingston, Jamaica, to save wretches like us. In grade two, I asked in class, how can a virgin give birth? And how can one son be his own father, his own ghost? And how did the ghost become holy? Sister said for a 7-year-old, I mortified her with my words. So she blessed me with 10 demerits, 2 detentions, and silenced me from speaking in religious study classes. It took me a while to discover the meaning of mortified, and I remained mortified of these images that were placed everywhere in our school.
All right, then. That's the beginning of a whole new prismatic side of the colonization and the Catholization, if
Yes,
there's such a word.
yes, it is for
So
us.
many. And it also happened in Canada, by the way. Canada, anywhere where colonizers were. I like what I'm hearing so far. I understand very clearly what I'm hearing, and as I know many others understand it. And you said that Sherry Baby can be found on Amazon. You can find the reviews there. You can do check out. And remember, as a people, we like to buy the things that man write the review them, wanna write the review them upon the people them Amazon page. All right. This is how we support each other in going forward in our writing. Because as you know, Deborah and Sharon, in the 70s and the 80s, just after independence, in the late 60s, nobody told our kids in school, you too can become an author. You too can become, well, Terry Macmillan wasn't big then, nor any of the African American writers. But we were stuck with Chaucer's tales. We were
Yes,
stuck with Shakespeare.
yes.
And we dare not even consider, yeah, we could write a little poem in primary school, but we dare not consider writing an entire book. Although in training, all of our very good teachers we had back in the day would encourage that kind of artistry. So
Right.
thank you so much, Sharon, for sharing. We have a comment here from our YouTube page from Dr. Shelley. She says, great conversation. Love the vulnerability of the short story. The real deal. Well done, Sharon. Well done.
Oh,
Now,
thank you, Dr. Shelley. That's my publishing.
oh, that's amazing. Now, I'm going to ask you to come back, Sharon, so we can even talk more about your work as a writer. Deborah, what are the details of the event coming up in Atlanta? How can we be a part of this?
I have put it out on Facebook. It's going to be in 2 weeks in Atlanta. You can come and see true, authentic stories. The best of the best, the cream of the crop in Jamaica is what's on this film that I'm going to be showing. And all the proceeds will go toward the What's Her Story Jamaica 2026.
How long is the film? How long is the
It's
film?
about an hour and 35 minutes.
Okay.
And we'll have a little intermission, and there are going to be some Jamaican goodies in between. But anybody who knows anybody in Atlanta, you should come out and see it. I promise you, it doesn't sound exciting, but it is. We just had 2 sold out shows in Los Angeles, and the people loved stories, you know. So
Wow.
it's wonderful, and they're all different, and that's what's nice. Some of them are more dramatic, some of them are a little more humorous, but they're all true, and we can all relate to them no matter where you're from. But come out and enjoy a wonderful evening of storytelling in Atlanta on Sunday, April 27th. I am easy to find. I'm on Facebook. Hit me up on Facebook. Ask Totlin, whatever, and I will send you the information. But it is on Facebook, and you can find me easily. Okay.
It's
And
awesome.
we
I
will be
just dropped that link in our chat here in YouTube, and if you miss it again, reach out. We will give you all the information. I will also post about it, so you get the opportunity to see it. You can say that you hear about it right here on Why I Write. Share this interview, share this chat, because this is how we grow. We, people will say, oh, but I don't see or I don't know. It's right here. We're here on YouTube spreading the good news, spreading the good word. Yes, share, share, share. Yes, Deborah.
And at the end of this month, we will open up and start taking stories for the competition for next year. So if you know anyone in Jamaica, or if you will be in Jamaica and you have a great story, start writing it, start preparing it, and get a piece of that $1 million prize, and just come and share your story and touch other people and have a great time and connect.
I love that. I love that indeed. And Sharon, what are your parting words?
I just want to, I totally forgot to tell people I have a website. Come to my website, IamSharonGordon.com. I am SharonGordon.com. And on Instagram, TikTok, it's at I am Sharon Gordon. And on Facebook, Sharon Gordon. And get your copy of Sherry Baby. And let's talk about Sherry Baby. Sherry Baby is going to be opening up a lot of conversations, Tatlin. We're not playing around here anymore. We're reclaiming our identity and our language. It's ours to be proud of.
Big time, every day, all day. And congratulations again for being the storyteller winner for 2025. We look forward to hearing so much more, many more stories. And I know I'm going to see that film where I see you do that performance. Yes.
Wait, I have to say happy birthday. Oh my gosh. 3 people who are listening. Happy birthday to my publicist, 3rd birthday today. Happy birthday to my publicist, Terrell Blackett, who's listening. Happy birthday to Mitzi Allen, who's listening, Hammer Films. And happy birthday to Paulette in the UK, who's listening. Oh my gosh. I almost got in trouble. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Happy
Thank
birthdays
you.
to everyone who's tuned in. Please share this, because we need to get the word out about storytelling. We need to this is how we support each other mentally, spiritually, creatively. This is how we support each other. We have it for said that boy, our people not support we, but we know how to support each other. So let's go ahead, share. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Atlanta in a couple of weeks. We're going to talk more about this. We're going to invite Sharon back so we can feature her book and everything. And we're going to invite Deborah back as she continues to do this wonderful work of creating a platform so that we can hear, see, listen, grow, be entertained, be informed, and celebrate ourselves and our culture. Deborah, thank you so much.
Thank you for doing this. And Sharon, thank you. Thank you for telling an amazing story and giving us a fabulous show at Half Moon in February. Thank you, Totlin.
Look,
Listen, I just want to let people know that we're going to have it at Half Moon again next year, the first weekend in February. And Half Moon has been gracious to give us their conference center, and they'll give us the local rate if anybody wants to come and see it. Totlin, come and see it live. It's fabulous to see the storytelling live. It's an amazing feeling to see it live.
Look, I was poised and ready to come this February, but you know what happened. So,
yes.
I've got to be there next year for sure.
And I want to tell you that this year we had the youngest participant that we ever had, 17 years old, and we had the oldest participant, 90, that we ever had, and they both made the final. It was amazing. Anybody can share their story. Anybody.
I love it. I saw some photographs from the event of other friends, and I was low-key very jealous that I wasn't there. But it's okay. Mark me down 10, because the time has run off so very quickly. because when we spoke about it, Deborah, I was so looking forward to it. And hey, so
Next time, Half Moon
yes,
2026.
I'm gonna be there.
Exciting.
Everyone, please check out Deborah on social media. Please check out Sharon on social media. You can check me out on social media. I have 2 books too on Amazon. Search for my name. You'll find them. Yes. Take care. Have a great Holy Week. Happy Easter. Walk good.
Yes.
Until next
Until
time. Thank you so much for watching
thank you.
Why I Write.